What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today just got some new Fallen of Albaz cards. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out these new cards. So first off, these are going to be released in Burst Protocol, and I'm so excited to check these cards out because Branded Despia is one of my favorite decks, and Albaz lore is so good. So let's go ahead and see what these cards actually do, and I love the gift for this. But these cards look absolutely majestic. They look so good. And we have a new Synchro monster for Ecclesia and an epic looking Albaz. But let's go ahead and see what these cards effects actually are. So first off, the new Albaz card is called Fallen of the White Dragon. And is a level 4 Dark Dragon effect monster with 1800 attack and 0 defense points, just like the original Fallen of Albaz. When this card having the effect that this card is always treated as Fallen of Albaz, and you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. An important thing to keep in mind about this card though is that since this card is always treated as Fallen of Albaz, you can only play a combined number of 3 of this, or 3 copies of Fallen of Albaz, or a combined number of 3 of a total of 3 of the card, which is very interesting about this card, kind of like Umi and a Legendary Ocean, or Harpy Lady 1, 2, and 3 with the original Harpy Lady, which is very interesting. So this card's first ability is if this card is in your hand, you can send a monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz from your extra deck to the graveyard and special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon the extra deck for the rest of this turn except for level 8 fusion and synchro monsters. Now that's a very interesting ability to actually lock you specifically into level 8 fusion and synchro monsters, and that's a really interesting effect that it actually does lock you into that. That's a really cool ability to be able to send a monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz from your extra deck to the graveyard, because you have some really insane targets you can actually send to the graveyard, like Titanoclad, Breegrand. You can send all sorts of different stuff to the graveyard, even Albion. There's some really crazy targets you can actually use this card. And something also to keep in mind about this card is usually you only play like 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz anyways, so you technically could play this as the 3rd copy, which is really neat. So the second effect in this card is normal or special summon. You can special summon an Ecclesia monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, which is actually a pretty cool ability. It might be the way that we actually synchro summon into our new synchro monster is actually summoning out the incredible Ecclesia, the tuner monster, which would be very interesting to make this new level 8 synchro. So for our new synchro monster, this card is called Ecclesia of the Black Dragon. And this card is a level 8 light spellcaster synchro effect monster with 2500 attack and 2500 defense points, meaning it is a spellcaster with the same attack and defense stats. And this card's materials is a tuner plus a non-tuner, so it's generic. Oh, that's very interesting. And it's for its effect, you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. For this card's first effect, during the main phase, quick effect, you can banish this card until the end phase, and if you do, special summon a Fallen of Albaz or a level 4 or lower monster that mentions it from your deck or graveyard. That's broken. That is actually broken. We have an on-demand super poly now on the opponent because you can actually activate this card's ability during the main phase, tag it out for the original Fallen of Albaz, and then use it as a fusion, which is insane to use Albaz's fusion ability to basically fuse away one of your opponent's monsters along with Fallen of Albaz by discarding a card, so you can just instantly go in for like a Mirror Jade, which is actually insane. This is really good and definitely going to be a part of a lot of inboards and a really cool card overall. I could definitely see this being played in like Sword Soul as well, which would be really neat, but there's a lot of different ways you can actually play this card. For the second effect, in this card's in your graveyard, you can target a level 8 fusion monster in the graveyard or the banishment and 1 card on the field and shuffle them both and this card in the deck so you can use it all over again. So this card is probably going to be like a one-of in a lot of different decks, but it's really good for actually the Albaz lore as well because they finally get their happy ending, which is super cool. And it might not be the end of the Albaz lore. It might just be the beginning of a new chapter, but it's super cool to actually see these majestic cards. And it's really cool to actually see Ecclesia with Albaz in his dragon form and Albaz looking so majestic. That is such a cool looking card. And these cards are actually really good, but keep in mind that you can only play like 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz plus this card, or like 2 copies of this and then a Fallen of Albaz, or 3 of either or, because it is always treated as Fallen of Albaz, which is something important to keep in mind about this card. But it is a really cool card overall, because it does have that ability to basically use this card as a send from the extra deck to the graveyard, so you can special summon this card. And then also, if it's normal or special summon, you could special summon an Ecclesia, so you can summon out the incredible Ecclesia. So you could use this as an engine as well. I could definitely see this being played in something like maybe Sword Soul, which would be really insane, especially since we're getting another Sword Soul Synchro, which is going to be really cool. And this is going to be really, really insane to actually see what players do with this. And you could play it in Branded as well, maybe it's like a one of, depending on what you're doing. But it's really going to be very interesting to see this used as an engine, and I'm really excited to actually see what a lot of players do with this. I think it's a really good card overall, and I love the artwork of them. They're just so cool looking, and it's really insane to actually see more Albaz support. So that's going to this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell near so you can come part of Notification Squad, and definitely tell me what you guys think of these cards down in the comments down below. I think they're really, really good, and I'm really excited for Burst Protocol. So, that's good, guys. We'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.